Hello, guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's been a while since I did a video like this, and I'm so excited to be doing something today because I've been talking a lot on Instagram, and I decided that I just need to come onto YouTube and still give you guys the nuggets that we used to share in the beginning. So we are on at our podcast studio. We just wrapped up a beautiful podcast episode. I just want to firstly start by saying thank you so much to everybody that's been watching the podcast, supporting the podcast, commenting on the podcast episodes, streaming it on all the audio platforms. It's been absolutely amazing, and I'm just enjoying creating it. Within the podcast, I've been receiving a lot of questions pertaining to the work that we do at Resonate and also the work that I do on my Instagram page. And today's video, I want to be sharing with you guys 3 business principles for beginners. I know there's a lot of people that watch all of our content and they think to themselves, I want to start a business, or I'm thinking of starting a business, or I have started a business, but there are some things that are lacking and I really don't know how to go about it. How do I make money? Is this a sustainable business? And today I want to give you guys these 3 principles that are going to set you up to actually kickstart your business. But let me first of all say that there's actually 4 principles that I want to share with you guys. But I thought things work better in threes, like, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. And the one is going to be the bonus. So it's 3 business principles plus 1, which is going to be a bonus. Yeah. So for those that don't know me, my name is Michelle Expert. Just to give you guys a background, because we've kind of grown the community, and I'm the CEO and founder of Resonate Hub, which is a sales and entrepreneurship hub. And at an extension, we have the Resonate podcast, which is where we platform and we bring successful entrepreneurs that we speak to and learn from. But at the core of Resonate Hub is that we really want to be a hub that makes entrepreneurship and sales information, knowledge, tactics, skills, tips accessible to entrepreneurs across the world. Now, with this, we talk a lot around how to build a business, but most importantly, how to actually sell. I have started about over 6 businesses in my entire career that have done so well. Some have failed. I've learned so many lessons. I've burnt my fingers in so many ways. And I really just make it my life's mission to actually share with you guys things that you can avoid or things that you can learn from, and things that I've also learned from some of the amazing people that we bring onto the different platforms. So today I noted 3 of these principles that I really want you to take note on and really just kind of harness in your business journey so that you can set yourself up for success. The first one, as we get into it, is that don't talk about your business, but talk about your offer. Now, I've spoken about this a lot in the past before, that there's a difference between your business and your offer, right? For instance, our business is Resonate, but we don't offer Resonate because Resonate is not an offer, right? The question is, what do you offer? So for instance, I love giving this example because it really just gives you a clear picture of what we mean when we say don't talk about your business, talk about your offer. So for instance, your business could be called Creative Crafters or Creative Wires, right? And what you do in this business is that you sell drills. Now, drills are the products that you sell in your business, but drills are not your offer. What do drills actually do? Drills actually make holes in the wall. So basically what your offer is in this case is holes in the wall. So when you meet people as the owner of this business, you don't talk about Creative Crafters, which is the name of your business. You don't talk about drills, but you talk about holes in the walls, because you talk about how you are actually going to be able to serve people. I see a lot of entrepreneurs, they make this mistake where they go into these events and they go onto these platforms. They're invited for podcasts and they ask them, what do they do? And the biggest thing that they will say is like, I am the CEO and founder of XYZ. It's like, that's great, but how does it help the person that you want to buy from you? So the important thing, especially when you're a small business and your business is not well known enough, it is very important that every single time you talk about the work that you do, you speak about the holes in the wall, is that you speak about the offer. You speak about how you are actually able to help people, because at the core of every single person that doesn't know us, every single group of people that haven't heard from us, they're trying to ask themselves, who are you and how can you help me? And if you can't answer that question, you're going to be forgettable. And when you are forgettable, people don't actually buy from you. So it is very important. You can be, for instance, say you're a virtual assistant, because we have a virtual assistant here, all right? And what you do is that you don't introduce yourself as, hi, my name is XYZ and I'm a virtual assistant. You have to say, hi, my name is XYZ and I help entrepreneurs and creatives XYZ and S, because if you say it like that, it makes it easier for myself as the potential client to see how you can help me and how I can pay you to give me the value that you actually serve. Do you get that? So it's very important. Do not talk about your business, but talk about your offer. Talk about how you can help people, because by virtue of you doing that, you will have actually connected to somebody that is going to potentially buy from you, and in virtue of that, essentially get the sale that you actually need. Powerful, powerful, powerful. The moment I learned this, I learned to introduce myself differently. I learned to speak to people differently concerning what I do. And I learned to put what I want people to buy at the forefront of my conversations. And this way, you are actually enabling yourself and your business to get more sales and to make it easier for people to remember you. Like, it's like, if you are wearing a green shirt, right, as an example, people will remember, oh, it's that person that was wearing a green shirt. They don't go and say, well, it's that person that was wearing a green shirt made of cotton with silk. This is like, people don't really care about the detail unless whatever it is that you're wearing or whatever it is that you've been speaking about has impacted them in any other way. So it's very important to remember that. The second point that I want to share with you, and this was a big game changer for me in my business journey. Every one of these things I'm sharing with you guys are always big game changers for me. The second one is understand the difference between rapport and relationships. And I know, right? We use these words so interchangeably. We use these words because we think they mean the same thing. We say, well, how do you build rapport? How do you build relationship? And it's like, no, those are actually two different things that you can build differently and that can benefit you differently in your life and in your career. So let's start by defining them. And I wrote down a couple of notes just to give you a lot more clarity. Let's start by rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is basically a quick connection based on mutual understanding and good communication. So a powerful example of what rapport actually is like you go to a football game and you are sitting next to somebody who loves the same player that you do, and then you guys connect and start talking about that specific player and that specific match. That is a rapport, right? And then a relationship is a deep long-term connection built over time with trust and shared experience. A relationship, for instance, would then be your best friend, would then be the very close friends that know the intricate details of your life. Now, what a lot of people try to do when we say you need to be able, and I think we loosely say things like build relationships so that you can make money, or build rapport, and we interchangeably use them. You can still get people that you've built a rapport with to buy from you. They don't necessarily have to be people that you've built a relationship with. So sometimes we go out there in the market and we really try our best to want to build relationships with all of these people because we want people to buy from us. So we want to kind of foster a long-term relationship hoping we'll get a short-term sale, and it doesn't work like that. So the best thing you can do is build a rapport with a person. And when you build a rapport is, what is one thing that we have a mutual understanding in, that we have a good connection in? Could it be a football game? Could it be how we think about raising our children? Could it be that I went to my daughter's school and then I bumped into another parent who's got the same exact or similar views to me as far as raising the boy child or raising the girl child, and we connected, and that's a rapport. So chances are the next time I see her, I'm probably going to go sit next to her, and we're probably going to be chatting a bit about our kids and how they're doing. And then essentially, as we are connecting with this rapport, we can essentially then build a relationship. But it is important to realize that you can build a rapport and convert somebody from your rapport to actually buy from you. And that in itself becomes a strategy to then build a relationship with somebody only if you want to, and only if it's going to be valuable for that person and for you to be able to build that relationship. But it is important that we don't mix the two, because I think sometimes when we look at rapport and relationships, we think it's the same thing, said differently or said in a much more less fancier way, I guess. So it's very, very important. Some of the things that are actually noted here when we speak about rapport is that it's short term and it can be built very quickly. So it's something, and it's usually very organic, because you go to an art gallery and somebody's like staring at the art piece that you find quite inquisitive, and you guys start chatting about how this art piece is so interesting and what it means to you, what it means to them. That's rapport. You might not even exchange contact details. You might not even further the conversation after that. You might not even meet again, you might meet again, but you might not know each other's houses or each other's partners, but you've got a good rapport together. And the second thing also is just, it focuses on making the other person feel comfortable and understood. Again, we are connecting on a common connection. We are connecting on something that we mutually kind of agree with and mutually are enjoying in this specific moment in time. And the third one is that it can be established through good communication, active listening, and finding common ground. So sometimes rapport is not necessarily agreeing with somebody over something, but it's potentially having a discussion pertaining something that bothers you. So for instance, if we are having a conversation around if sweets are good for children, or how to teach children how to brush their teeth, right? The person that I may be connected with might have a certain view that I might not necessarily agree with, but I am inquisitive enough to hear more from them, to listen and to extract where their thought process is coming from, and to also share what I also think about it. That is also a way that you can build rapport with somebody. And from there, for instance, let's say you're selling toothpaste in this case, it's easier to then connect and build into what you're selling to get the sale because you've been able to engage with that person. So sometimes when we go out there and we're looking for clients, we shouldn't really focus on building relationships in the sense, but at that moment in time, what you're looking for is the sale, and you can only get the sale when you're able to build rapport with somebody. And then if we get into relationships, like we said, they are deeper. This is a long-term connection that develops over time through continued interaction, through trust, and through shared experiences. So let's say, for instance, these are your best friends. These are people you've known for years. These are people you've shared similar views with for years as well. Those are relationships. They're long-term. They take time to develop. They involve a lot of deeper trust more than it is just sharing your opinion. They kind of have a lot of commitment engraved in them as well, a lot of understanding. They require ongoing effort. And the last thing I actually noticed is that they require communication and support, which is very important. So by the time it becomes a relationship, it's you've given a part of you, I've given a part of me, and we're in understanding that we are doing life together, whether if it's from a friendship perspective, a professional perspective, a romantic perspective, whatever it is. But those are relationships that are different from rapport. So it's very important that we differentiate between the two, so that when we are in spaces where we've got the opportunity to sell, we don't kind of wrap ourselves around the idea of wanting to build a relationship with everybody, because that takes time, because you're going to overperform. You're going to end up doing things that you're not supposed to be doing because you're trying to get everybody to build a relationship with you, when all you need is just a rapport. And you build a rapport, in my view, by going into spaces where you actually get to learn, what do people in this kind of space care about? What do they want to know of? How can I speak to them? How can I relate to them in a way that enables them to connect with me? And then when you do that, you've built a rapport. And from building a rapport, you can then start selling, and you can then start speaking to people about the first thing that we spoke about, your offer. A third point is over deliver to your clients. Now, I say this very often to some of the people in our hub, and it's a conversation that revolves around so many layers when I think about over delivering, because we're in such an age where the people that have made it can easily tell us that don't over deliver, give the client what they paid for, because they're going to get used to you over delivering, etc., etc. And I think to an extent that is good advice when you're at a certain level in business, but it doesn't always apply when you're beginning. I remember there's several businesses that I've started that by virtue of over delivering, I enabled myself to get referrals that were willing to pay me. I enabled myself to get more clients. I enabled myself to get more out of that one client than I would have if I had just given them exactly what they asked for, but I over delivered. I think over delivering is quite a great strategy to retain clients, as far as keeping them in and actually being able to get more clients, because they will continuously be raving about the service and whatever it is that you're giving them. The important thing about over delivering is that you have to do it in the bounds of your business and in the bounds of boundaries. If you don't do it with boundaries and are just willing to do anything and you're not being profitable, then there's a problem. But for instance, you can easily just try to find ways you can over deliver to your clients. I'll give you an example. For those that kind of know this channel, I used to run a wedding planning and deco company about 9 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And what I used to do let me give you an example for what I did with this one client, is that I was planning their wedding, and my company was also doing their deco, which is the floral parts, the draping and all of that other stuff. And I remember one of the meetings that we had, my client was basically talking about how they haven't been able to get the right ribbon for their daughter's dress, who was a flower girl at the wedding. So they were a bit stressed about that, and they really didn't know how to go about it. So what I did after that meeting is that I went on an endeavor to go and find that ribbon, because I was experienced in that market and I could really kind of go out there and find those kind of things. So I went there and I bought that ribbon, and I called the client. I actually took a picture and I sent it to them on WhatsApp, and I called them to say, hi, this is something that you were complaining about and I got it for you. It's on me. You don't need to pay for it. I just thought I should help you because the wedding is a few days away and I don't want you to stress. That could have been something like it cost me petrol to go there. It cost me money to buy that ribbon. But what I did for that client established a very long-term relationship between them and I that helped them give me more business. That helped them at that time say, you know what, Michelle, I am going to do XYZ. I'm going to speak to this person who's doing their birthday in like 4 weeks, that you can do it for them, etc., etc. But it really helps you get more out of people than you would have if you just gave them exactly what you were being paid to do. So it's important to build strong customer loyalty when you are actually over delivering to your clients. I think this is very important. important. And like I said previously, it generates a good positive word of mouth because people kind of have this idea of how you've been doing so much for them and how you actually went above and beyond what they are doing. And I think the third and most important thing is that it differentiates your business from your competitors. If you are in a market, people are offering certain things quite similar to what you're offering, fortunately, right? But how you are going to set yourself apart as a small business that's actually starting in the market is you need to be able to go above and beyond. And sometimes going that above and beyond is actually asking yourself, what are the kind of services or just an extra thing and an extra touch that is tied to what I offer that could be so helpful to my client and save them a lot of money? Maybe it's an extra consultation. Maybe it's a specific topic in your coaching program that maybe if you spoke to them about as a bonus, it had helped them save X amount of money. What is it for you? Because when you are able to differentiate yourself, you actually set the standard very high and you actually build a name for yourself and for your business that is going to be so helpful. The last and the bonus point is literally a basic principle. I say this and I need you to take this and actually apply this in your business right now from this moment that you watch this video. And it is basically the fact that you have to answer to your inquiries within the first 24 hours that come in. I know a lot of people, every time somebody inquires about their services and their products, they take time to respond. And here's what I want you to realize. Whenever people are inquiring for your products or services, I need you to understand that you're not the only person that they've sent that message to. They've probably sent that message to 7, 4, 20, 30 other people that do the very same exact thing that they're doing. And chances, or what determines them actually deciding who they work with, is who's answered speedily and more efficiently. So what is important for you is that every time somebody inquires and every time somebody is speaking to you about a specific thing that you offer, the quicker you respond to them, the more efficient and the more easier you make the communication lines, or the more you break the barrier of entry, the easier and the much faster you are actually going to get the sale. That is very self-explanatory. That is so easy, but it's an exercise that you need to implement in your business heavily so that you can actually make the money that you've been desiring to make. Now, those are the 3 business principles for beginners that I wanted to share with you guys today. And I'm curious to know from these 3 that I shared, which one have you been struggling with? Or actually as well, which one have you been getting really right? Because these 3 are so fundamental, especially if you are at a beginner phase where you're feeling like, I want to build and I can feel that this thing is going to gain momentum, but how do I not lose out on getting more money? How do I not lose out on retaining customers? How do I not lose out on actually getting good reviews? How do I actually not lose out on the connections and selling every time I meet new people? So let me know in the comments section. I'm always excited to engage with you guys and talk to you guys about business knowledge and every other thing that you might be struggling with. And with all of that said, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.